Good morning, lovely tens. Right, buddies. Here we are again, back into online learning, but actually it's okay. You guys are quite good at the online learning at this stage, so I think that we won't lose out. We're doing quite well, and I hope that this is okay for you. I'm going to do my very best to make this as close as possible to real being in school. So, yeah, I'm excited. Let's do it. Okay. Oh yeah, before we start, I should talk about what the plans are going to be for the next little bit because I'm not sure when we'll be allowed back in school again. Yeah, so here's what I was thinking. You can see right now I've done a pre-recorded video for you. This is what this is. And I like that because it's got the advantage of you can pause it and you can push play and you can even put me at faster speed if I'm not going quick enough for you, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. But yeah, it's got lots of advantages, but I'm going to do that, and I think I'm going to do some live teaching too, which means that you will have to be able to get onto Google Classroom with the code and stuff that I've given you like we've practiced before, and you can join lessons that way. And I know that that's sometimes not as good because you won't be able to pause and go back and forth and stuff, but it is very good in that you'll be able to ask me questions just like if it was a regular lesson, and I do want to see you and hear from you and stuff like that, just in case we're locked down for a long time. I'd still like to be able to communicate with you. So yeah, that's what the plan is. Cool. So anyway, buddies, we tidied off our last unit pretty swiftly at the end of Christmas there. So we're starting a brand new unit. So in your book, please put the title Sampling. Now, I'm going to tell you, while you're writing that title, I'm going to tell you really what sampling is. Basically, sometimes you have way too much data that you don't want to deal with. So if I was going to ask, oh, I don't know, if I was going to ask your year group what they thought of the canteen food, for instance, would I actually have to go around and ask all 155 of you if you like, I don't know, the chips on chip day or whatever? Do I have to ask all 155 of you to get an idea if it's good or not, or if you guys like it or not? Well, no, actually. I wouldn't have to ask all of you, because if I asked a good whack of you, say I asked 30 of you, say I even asked just our class, say if I was just to ask you guys what you thought, your opinions are probably pretty close to the opinions of your entire year group. And when you do that, instead of asking everybody, you don't ask every single person in the whole year group, but just asking a small group of people, that's called taking a sample. And the topic is called sampling, okay? So rather than asking everyone, we'll just ask a few people. Now, it's kind of cool. You have to know, I think this is really cool, this unit, actually. It's a statistics unit, but I still really like it. So we're going to do two types of sampling today, and you're going to do an activity. So I hope the video isn't too long. So first thing I'm going to get you to write down is this, random sample. Now, this is one of the few times you have to actually memorize some stuff in maths, unfortunately. So you'll have to know this. Items are chosen completely randomly from a list. That's all you really need to know, that first sentence. Make sure that that's in your book. It's completely random which numbers that you pick from a list, or which people I ask in the class, or which class I ask in the school. Whatever it is, it's done completely at random. Now here's the thing. People aren't actually random, and you can almost even see that in this random list of numbers that I drew down here. You can see I've got a good whack of ones, a good lot of twos, and I bet you I probably even forgot a number, because I was trying to be random, but by trying, it means you're not random. So here's the thing. If you want to pick something randomly, you can't just be like, oh, I'll pick the first one, the fifth one, and the eighth one, because that's not actually random. You have to use a device to come up with a random number, which means you have to use your calculator. In the olden days, you'd have to put things in a hat and draw them out, like a Secret Santa. That's random because it's from a hat. It's not me trying to do pairings with you. It's like from a hat. That's random, and the calculator does random too. Now, here's what I'm going to show you. You probably have this calculator or this one. I hope you have one of these two, and if not, I hope your calculator can do this too. And I'm going to show you what to do. You have to be able to generate a random number, and you probably have never done this before, so hopefully you can just follow my mouse here. If you don't have a ClassWiz, if you got the regular one, here's what you're going to do. We want to get the random int. Oh, that's not working at all. You want to get the ranint command, which stands for random integer. It's here on the decimal point, okay? On the ClassWiz, it's also on the decimal point, okay? It's in pink on both. Can you see that? Good. Okay, so to get a pink number on your calculator, here's the first thing that you're going to do. Pink matches with this button here, alpha. So push it once, push that first, okay? Push the alpha button, and there should be a little A up here, up there, I think. Once you push that button, then you can push the decimal button, and So push that one, that's the second thing to push. You're not holding or anything, just push that, then push this, and now it should say randint like this, and there should be an open bracket. Now, the first number in the bracket is the first number that you go. So if I said pick a number between 1 and 3, you would put a 1 here first, because that's the first number. Then you push the comma, which is here actually on the closed bracket, and it's here on the closed bracket too. But can you see that it is in yellow on both? Which means you have to push the shift button before it, okay? So then it's that one first and that one second. This one first and that one second, okay? And that gets the comma in, and then push 3. So let's do it together. I'm just going to make sure I've got it, okay? So I'm using the first calculator. So I'm going to push alpha, random int, then I'm going to push 1, then I'm going to push shift, then comma, then 3, then close bracket, then equals, and I got 3. If I push equals again, 3. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 1, 3. See how it's happening? It's doing completely random numbers. So it's working. The calculator's generated a random number. Happy days? Cool. Here's what I'm going to get you guys to do. Generate 5 random numbers from 1 to 100. Okay? So what do you put in the calculator? That's right. You just switched the 3 for a 100. Good work, buddies. So put it like that and just push equal a few times. And just see that you've got some random numbers, okay? So just check that it actually worked. Cool? Cool. So I presume you've got a whole bunch of random numbers, like you'd have 75, and you'd have 1 and 3 and 8 and all sorts like that, okay? So you should have got a bunch of random numbers, so I presume that that's okay in the calculator. Okay, that means we can do question B. I want to estimate the mean of these 20 numbers, these blue ones here at the bottom. I want to estimate the mean of these blue numbers by taking a sample of 5. Okay, so I'm only going to use 5 of them to estimate the whole mean. Cool. Here's how you're going to do it. Random int, and here we go. We're going to pick a random number. Well, there's 20 of them, right? So it's going to be 1, comma, 20. Now, the first number that I made come out, you don't even have to write this down. You just need to circle, but I'm going to write it down just to show you so you don't write this, okay? The numbers I've got are 18, 16, 16 again, so I'm going to not bother with the second 16. Then I'm going to go with 5. Then I'm going to go with 18, so I'm going to ignore that. I've got that one as well. 13 came out, and 17 came out. Okay, so here's what you do with your random numbers. I need the 18th one. Now there's 20, so the 18th one is, 18 is there. The 16th one is there. The 17th one is there. So 18, 16, 17, the 5th one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's that one, and the 13th one, 10, 11, 12, 13. So see those numbers that are in red circles? Those are my randomly selected ones. So if I want to use my randomly selected numbers to come up with the mean, here's what you do. Literally just do the mean with them. So it's 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 8 plus 7 equals 22. But I'm dividing that by 22. And I'm going to divide it this time, though, just by the 20. Or sorry, not 20, by 5, I mean, because I checked 5. So it's 22 divided by 5, which is 4.4. Cool. And that is what we get with that. And that's it. You've estimated that all of these blue numbers together should have a mean that's about 4.4. And we're going to learn a little bit more. Well, we're going to learn a lot more about this soon, but that's how you start. Cool beans? That's a random sample. You get random numbers, a list of random numbers, which you don't even have to write down, and then you go through and you circle the ones that, that correspond to them, and then you do the calculation that you were asked to do. For instance, find a mean. And that's that. So it's not too hard of a topic, I hope. I think the calculator typing's the hardest. So here we go, next one. Easier still, sounds harder, but it's not. Easier still, it's called a systematic sample. Now, with a systematic sample, you do need to write this because they do ask questions on a maths exam that is, what is a systematic sample? So it's a bit like Englishy or a bit like your other subject. You have to actually memorize bits and bobs of it. Maybe not English, but like geography, history, stuff like that. You got to memorize a bit bits and bobs. So here's what it is. Systematic sample is this. You pick the first number randomly, and then you count on like every third one or every fourth one or whatever until you get all the way back to the start. That's how it works, okay? The way you do that is however many things that there are, you divide by however many things are in the sample. So say, for instance, if I had 100 things, and I was 100 items, but I was going to count, but I was going to sample 50 of them, I would find the first one randomly, and then I would go 100 divided by 50 to make 2, and I would count on every second one. Say there was 100 of them, and I wanted to sample 25. I'd go 100 divided by 25, 4. I'd sample every fourth one. Does that make sense, buddies? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Find an estimate for the mean of the 20 numbers to the right by taking a systematic sample of 5 of them. Okay, here's it. So maybe if you know what to do, you can kind of get a jump on me here, but let's see. The mean of the 20 numbers to the right by taking a systematic sample of 5 of them. So here's what we're going to do. We need to know where to start. So we're going to have to use this thing. We're going to have to use the ran int number thing. Well, there's 20 in the list, right? So we need a random one that's between 1 and 20. And then you close the bracket, pop it into your calculator. Okay, and on mine, I got 4. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to circle the fourth number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now here's where it gets different. Here's why this systematic sample comes in. We're going to count along in the list, but we've got to get back to that number that I circled. So here's what you're going to do. There's 20 numbers in the list, right? And we want to sample 5 of them, which means we'll go 20, we'll divide by 5, and that equals 4, which means we want the fourth, every fourth number. Does that make sense? So starting at 5, then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm back at 5 again. Do you see how that like final green circle lands on the red circle? That's what a systematic sample does. Cool? And now it's the same deal again. All you're going to do is you're going to calculate the mean with them. So here we go. It's 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 0. So it's 11 is what you get when you add them up. So the mean is going to be 11 divided by, and how many did we pick? Well, 5. 11 divided by 5, which is 2.2. So we're kind of getting wildly different numbers here, but it's because I made these guys up. It's different to the first mean that we got of 4.4, is 2.2. Now, you can make your samples way more accurate by taking larger numbers of them. So you take a huge sample with lots of numbers. That makes it more accurate. But also, yeah, you can make it more accurate by taking more numbers, but also you wouldn't do a random sample of just random numbers. It's usually stuff that's correlated. Cool. Now the next one, find an estimate of the mean of the 20 numbers to the right by taking a systematic sample of 10 of them. So it's the same, it's the same question again, but this time taking 10 of them. So I want you to do it by yourself. If you want even, I'll say when you can pause the video. Pause the video and just do it on your own. I'm going to do it on my own too, but you should just go ahead and then you can like skip, or you can listen to me try it too. So you ready? If you're going to do it on your own, which you should do it now. Go. Okay, so hopefully you're still okay, still finished working on yours. Here we go. I'm going to see mine. My random integer this time was equal to 3, so it's the third one that I'm going to start at. 1, 2, 3. I'm starting at this 2. Now, this time, there's 20 numbers, but I want to sample 10 of them, which means I want to choose every second one. Okay? I want to pick every second one. So the 2 is my first one, then boom, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I'm back at my red one again. So you see I've got all the way through the data set. If I want to do the average of them, it's going to be different to yours, but let's see anyway. 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 5 plus 2 plus 8 plus 9. Why on earth didn't I just do that mentally? That feels ridiculous. Divide that by 10, and I have got 4.1 this time as my mean. Cool. So my mean is 41 divided by 10, which was 4.1. Cool. And that's cool. Now the final thing I want you to do is you can't, the final thing I want you to do is this. Actually find, ooh, that should be a C. Actually find the actual mean, which means add them all up together, and let's do it. So find the actual mean, and we'll see how close we are. So let's see. I'm going to do it mentally this time. 7, 14, 15, this is 4, 6, 11, 17, this is 5, 10, 14, this is 9, 16, 25, 15, plus 7, plus 5. I got the total was 71. I hope you guys agree. So the mean, it's equal to 71 divided by 20. So the actual mean then of this question is 3.55. Cool. So the big question here, if that's the actual mean, we actually did use all the numbers. Which one's closer? Well, hopefully, if my example has worked out right, this one should be. The one that uses the more numbers is usually the better estimate. And that is pretty much that. So now you know what a random sample and a systematic sample is. So I'm ready for your nightmare to begin. Here's what you're going to do for the rest of the question. I love this activity, and I know that sometimes people are intimidated by it, but it's brilliant. Tree sampling activity. So this is attached for you to look at. Here's what you're going to do. We're going to look at 20 trees, okay? We're going to do a sample of 20 trees of 200 trees. Now, we're not going to do this whole question. I just want you to say the girth, which I think is the distance around. I'm not all the way sure, but it's going to be like the girth of these trees is what we're going to be measuring, okay? So there's 200 trees. We want to pick 20. All I want you to do is this. I want you to do, first of all, so we're not even doing the things, or we're not even doing the worksheets. I hope you're listening to the video. I want you just to do this. I want you to find an estimate of all of the trees' girth by doing, first of all, a random sample. Okay, random sample. And second of all, by doing a systematic one. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. For the 200 trees, we're going to sample 20 of them, okay? Our list then, to get our random numbers, is this. It's going to be ran int, and then you go like this. You're going to go 200, because they're, oh no, 1 first. 1, I think I can't write off the screen in this program too. It's 1, 200. That's how you're going to get it in your calculator. That's how you get the random numbers. And here's what you're going to do. Here's a picture of them. But we don't actually worry about that yet. We're going to do that later. I'm so sad I can't teach you this in person. I really like this activity, but that's okay. Look at this horrible, horrible, horrible list, buddies. Okay, in case you can't tell, it's like 3 columns. There's a column there, and a column there, and a column there. And here's what you're going to do. Say that your random integer number that you got, say one of your random integers was 4. Well, here's what you're going to do. Find tree 4. Now, they look like they're not in order, but they kind of are. They're in order by type of tree first. These ones are all beech trees, and their numbers are too big, so we're going to ignore that. And oh, there's 4. So it's a birch tree. See, that one is 4? Its girth is not 0.8. That's the first number that you're going to use. Cool? Say that your next random integer was 127. Well, that's this one, and it's not 0.6. So that'll be the next number that you use. Do you get how to do it, buddies? Okay, so you're going to make a list of those 20 numbers, and then just find the average of them. Find the mean of them for me. That's all I want you to do. When that's done, same deal again on systematic sample. So this one's actually faster and easier. What you're going to do is you are going to generate the first one. So say that the first tree was, I don't know, this 178th one. Generate it to start with. And then once you've got it generated, well, there's 200 of them, and you had to sample 20. So we're going to get every 10th tree. Cool? Now, I would ignore the numbers at this point, just count by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the next one you sample. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the next one you sample. See what I mean? So you get all the way through the list. That's all I want you to do. So how I'm going to do your work and how we're going to make sure that you're on track and stuff is, again, we'll have some live lessons so you can talk to me, but I want you just to upload a photo just from your phone or whatever. Just upload a picture for me that just shows that you've calculated these two averages, and that's all I want to see. I'm not going to set you any homework or anything. I'm just going to make sure that you're keeping caught up with the classwork. That's all. Cool? So, really good work, buddies. I hope I get to see you again soon, but see you online and see you hopefully live on Google Classroom too. So, that's it for me. Bye, buddies!